Steve Dotto here for LearnNowBC. Today's topic is going to be Google+. Welcome to the world of constant change. Just when you thought you had the world kind of figured out and you were on Facebook and you had things pretty organized in Facebook, felt like you understood social networking, along comes Google with Google+, a whole different social networking platform to learn about. Thanks, Google. Well, I think that we just have to accept this world of constant change. Now, when you sign up for your Gmail account or you sign up for any Google account, part and parcel of that is introduction into Google's social networking site called Google+. You don't have to opt in. You don't have to use Google+. It doesn't have to become a part of your life. But it might fit for you, it might work for you, and it's always worth exploring and seeing what features and seeing what Google thinks is a good way to social network. Now, when you enter your Google Plus account and you create your profile, it's pretty much the same process as you're going to do on Facebook or anything else. You create a profile with your interest, and then you start importing friends. Now, the way that Google Plus deals with your friends is quite a bit different. You just don't have a great big mass of friends. Instead, you have what are called circles. Google figures that you're going to use the same account probably for both business and personal use. So you can set up circles that are just of your friends, circles of your coworkers, circles of your customers. So you can use Google Plus in different ways depending on what circles your friends belong to. I want to take you through the interface really quickly here. And here's my Google Plus account. Down the center, this is pretty much the same as the feed in Facebook or a Twitter feed. This is other people making their posts, making their comments, talking about things that you and they are interested in. And that all lives down here down the center. So that's pretty familiar. That's very Facebook feeling. Down the left-hand side, we have all of our different tools. Here it really starts to diverge from Facebook. We can see we have our home screen. We have our profile, which allows us to edit and change our own individual profile, as well as make posts about ourselves. If we look on the right-hand side, you can see I have about 116 friends in my circles. I've got a lot less friends in Google Plus than I do in Facebook. That's because I'm still kind of getting my feet wet in Google Plus. But 201 people have me in their circles. So the difference between the number of people that are in my circles and the number of people that I am in their circle is they found me online. They haven't necessarily made friends with me, but they want to follow what I have to say because they think what I'm going to say might be interesting. So you can have people in your circles who aren't necessarily following you. Much like in Twitter, how you can follow people in Twitter that are not perhaps following you. Then we have the ability to be able to explore, which basically takes us and see what's hot and what's interesting in the whole world of Google. Of course, Google's strength is still their search engine, how they pull all of the different bits of data together on the internet. So you can see kind of trending and cool information that people are talking about by going here. You can see the most trending topics on Google right now. So this is kind of a up to date in what's happening in the world of tech and geeks area, the Explorer. Events, it's very similar to the Facebook events. If you're going to create an event you want to invite people to, you want to create some promotion around an event, you can do that there. Of course, you can share photos and deal with photos and videos, much like Facebook, handled in a very similar way as Facebook. Now it gets interesting though. Here's the circles icon. So this tells you who is the different circles that I've created and how we put different people in those circles. So you see I have 21 friends. I have several members of my family. I have people that I consider to be just acquaintances who I might have met. So you can see how I'm structuring my circles. If I want to add anybody to any of these one circles, Melissa, my daughter, if she's not in my family circle, I can just drag her down on top of my family circle, and she was already there. But if she wasn't there, she would appear there in the circle. Moving on, Google also, of course, has Google Maps. And so they're very geo-aware. So they have an area called local, which takes us into what's happening in our area. So you can see different posts and different information and different advertisements from people in our local area. There's games. Unfortunately, there are games in Google+, just like there are games in Facebook. Not my favorite use of social media, but nevertheless very popular with a lot of people. So perhaps I should not dismiss it too much. And then I'm going to take you here just for a second. These are called Google Hangouts. They're interesting and they're a very different approach to social media. Most of what we do on Facebook and Google Plus is asynchronous. We make a post and then an hour later somebody comments on our posts and sees the update, that sort of stuff. A Google Hangout is real-time communication with a series of friends. You create an event. You can create an event where you just all sit down and chat. You can create an event where you could set up games, I guess, in a Hangout. But you can have both video and audio in a Hangout, and you can invite a series of friends to join you in that Hangout. So it's like a group chat. People are doing it for small concerts. It can also be expanded into, they have something called Google Hangouts on Air, which allows radio stations or TV stations to create events where people can come in and watch the events happening in real time. So to me, one of the most interesting features of Google Plus is the Hangouts area. It's still yet to be determined how successful it's going to be, but it's an interesting take on social networking, bringing people together synchronously in real time. All of the same issues around Facebook happen in Google+. We have to be careful about what we post. We have to be careful about managing the people that we're in contact with. We have to be careful about information we share. All of those same tenets apply. I think that Google+ appeals to a different demographic than Facebook. It's a little more structured, a little more business, a little more staid than Facebook, which tends to be a little more wild and out there. Plus, Google Plus tends to be a little less desperate as far as engaging us in every aspect of our life. That's not to say Google isn't desperate trying to engage us in every aspect of our life, but Google Plus itself is a little more laid back in its approach. I heartily encourage you to take a look. Whether you decide to use it or not, it's completely up to you, but I think it's all of our responsibility to understand how these social networks work, have an idea for the flavor of what they bring to the table, and then we can make a decision whether or not they fit for us. On behalf of LearnNowBC, I'm Steve Dotto.